Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today we're taking a look at the rules contained in Shadow Throne, a two-player battle set, which basically tells the story of a Genestealer Cult infestation on Earth, how it is accidentally caught by a sort of like random drug deal gone bad, where the people are fleeing from the local enforcers and basically flee down hive into a kind of abandoned part of like the lower hives on Terra, and are instantly overrun by Genestealer cultists and evil Genestealer monster things. And the enforcers who are chasing them basically do a last-ditch effort to get back to their precinct fortress and send a transmission alerting the authorities. This, of course, unleashes all of the different arms of the Inquisition onto Terra, and notifies, of course, the Custodian Guard themselves, the Adeptus Custodes, who then head down to basically take care of this threat. There's a Blade champion, who is the new miniature in here, who is tasked with doing so. And the rest of the box basically is the really cool Deathwatch Overkill Genestealer Cult frame, which has the really cool Patriarch on it, a Prime, a Magus, and some other like Gribblies, like some little tokeny guys, who are special rules for those models. The new Saboteur, and then some just like neophytes to fight with as well. You get some Adeptus Custodes, you get some of the new Sisters of Silence, well not new, but the Horus Heresy Sisters of Silence that came with the Prospero Burns box, which can be made three ways, and a preview of the new Codex's rules for these models. So the assumption I'm making here in this, of course, is that the box itself basically is a preview of the two codexes. So we're seeing in advance some of these rules. They may be subject to change. They have been kind of outlined in a way that makes sense for the scenarios and the Crusade rules that are in here, because there's a cool little Crusade campaign. And therefore, of course, when the final codexes come out, there may be some differences. So let's take a look at what's in the box. So the Unthinkable War, basically the MacGuffin, the story, a basic overview of the Talons, the Emperor, and the Genestealer Cults, and then what's going on Terra. So heading under the underworld to go fight these monsters. Beautiful color section with the models in the box, your Magus, your Primus, your Psychic Familiars that go with these guys, and the Patriarch, the beautiful Reductus Saboteur miniature, multiple builds for it too, which I think is really cool, and then the Neophytes that you can build out of the core Neophyte box. Your Vigilators, Prosecutors, and Witch Seekers, which are, of course, all of the kits you can make out of the Sisters of Silence box. The Blade Champion that can be made multiple ways. I use the helmet off with the cool hair. And then your Adeptus Custodians. That can be made a variety of ways. And they actually give you the rules for all the different build options for the Adeptus Custodians out of the box. Although you only use like the basic Adeptus Custodian for the scenarios that are in here. And then the rules. So it's a bit confusing because it kind of amalgamates the two forces rules together. So we're going to go through them in order, but it won't really focus on one army at a time. You get the Theater of War, Deadly Ambush. So Theaters of War offer a unique way of playing. The idea here is that it reenacts the storyline for Deadly Ambush. There's Mission 1, Amongst the Rubble, and Mission 2, Cornered Prey. And this is telling the story of this like kill force sent by the Custodes to go kill the Patriarch that's leading this brood. They are on the way, and a Reductus Saboteur basically detonates a bomb and like collapses it on top of their force. And so this is the idea here is this is just the survivors. This is who's like a larger force of Custodes led by this champion was on the way, and they're either cut off or dead under the rubble because the cult itself was horribly outnumbered, obviously caught not unprepared, and they're trying to protect the Primarch so they can go and restart the process of infiltrating this society. And then Cornered Prey, of course, the showdown with the Patriarch. So, Deadly Ambush, you're going to have your power and point values depending on the army. Now, I will say there is no point values for any of the stuff in the box, unfortunately. It does give you the point value sort of like you could play for these missions and the ruses you can use, but there's no points actually to play out of here. We'll need the codex to actually get that going. But playing with power is fine because obviously power is on the data slate. So, Deadly Ambush is a new theater of war for your games of Warhammer 40,000. The missions presented on pages 16 and 19 will detail how these rules are used. After mustering your armies, each player can add the power rating of all the units in their army. If the players are playing a match play game or otherwise using point values, they add the point values instead and consult the number of ruses you get. So when you're playing the Deadly Ambush, you get ruses that kind of add to the army being used. So If a player is using deadly ambush ruses after determining deployment zones, they must secretly select the ruses they have available from the list below. Alternatively, you can declare they'll randomly select a D3 ruses, like a D3 to select their ruses. And you can use each one once. So you pick a table, then do your ruse. The idea here is that the maximum point values of your army in order to use deadly ambush goes down. So if the attacker, let's say the Custodians is playing 25 power, the defender only gets 20 power, but gets a ruse on top of it. And that's to balance out the fact that there's a lot more power with the Custodians in this box than there is Genestealer Cults. So you basically bend the forces around it. But then by having these rules in here, you could use any armies you want and play like a cool attacker defender sabotage mission. So some examples of a ruse. Table 1, Loyal Throng. Use this ruse when a unit in your army with the troops battlefield rules set up until the end of the battle. Each time they're destroyed, it's placed into strategic reserve at its starting strength. In each of your command phases, if that unit is below its starting strength, roll a d6 equal to the difference between the starting strength and the number of models. For each 2+, one of its destroyed models returned to the unit. So basically, it means that your neophyte unit just keeps coming back no matter how many times the Custodians kill it. So you've got the Loyal Throng like pushing through. That would be the one I would take, and I think it's the one you'll see today playing through the first mission with Jay. Then Defiant Defenders, use this ruse at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Each time a ranged attack is made against a unit from your army, if it's wholly within your deployment zone or remains stationary in your previous movement phase, it's treated as having benefits of light cover. And then Silent Stalkers, use this ruse at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Each time a ranged attack is made with an infantry unit. If it's not within 12 of the enemy units, it's treated as having dense cover. So the idea here is these will basically give you like an attacker defender benefit, but you make a reduced size. Mission 1 amongst the rubble. So the Talons of the Emperor deploy here. Genestealer Cult players deploy here. The armies are actually defined, but you could also play it just with different armies and that power level. We'll be playing with what's out of the box for Mission 1. It's a 44 by 30 map, so we're only playing on basically two kill team tiles, which makes it, fairly large. Big enough for, a 1,000-ish point game, which is 25 power. Then you basically have an attacker defender, and the attackers are pulling themselves out of the deployment zone and they're trying to chase the Patriarchs. They're trying to get off this side of the table. You'll see it in the actual game today. And then Mission 2, Cornered Prey, you're playing on a sort of like long side. Was it Hammer and Anvil, I think is that old deployment style. And you've got the Genestealer Cult army has a Patriarch, a Reductus, Saboteur, Primus, and Magus, a Neophyte Hybrids unit containing 10 models. And the Talons of the Emperor get a Blade Champion, an Adeptus Custodian with 3 models, a Prosecutor, a Vigilator, a Witch Seeker unit containing 5 models. So basically the box contents. And then you get to all these cool Crusade rules. So some actual Crusade rules for the Custodes. Battle traits, like for your Blade Champion specifically, and then for the Adeptus Custodian unit. So these are kind of, I'm assuming this is a preview of what comes in the box, but it might just be unique to the box as well, or the Codex rather. It might be unique as well. So for Blade Champion, you get Martial Focus. Each time a model in this is selected to fight, if it's within 3 of an objective marker or enemy warlord, reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. So he gets better as a fighter if he's defending an objective or if he's attacking a bad guy hero, which is his job. His job is to duel bad guy heroes. Inexorable Persecution, you can ignore all modifiers to move characteristic for this model and its advance and charge rules that are made for it. And each time a charge roll is less than 7, it counts as 7. That's a pretty cool rule. And then Champion Exemplar, once per battle, when this model uses an Adeptus Custodes stratagem, it's 0 CP cost. So that's also pretty cool. And then your Adeptus Custodians can have Bane of Champions. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack against a character, reroll the wound roll. Bellicose, this unit can perform heroic interventions as if it was a character. If another rule would allow you to do that, blah, blah, blah. If this unit is eligible to perform a heroic intervention, if it's within 6 horizontally and 5 vertically of any unit. So instead of 3. And then Aggressive Heroism, while this unit's within your opponent's deployment zone, add 1 to its attack characteristic for each model in the unit. So if you have 3 guys, they get 3 extra attacks each in the deployment zone. That's crazy. Oh no, add 1 to the attack characteristic of each model in this unit, no, not for each model in this unit. I was like, that's bananas. They can 5-man unit, they all have +5 attacks. That would be stupid. And then you get Crusade Relics. You get an Artificer Relic, your Auspice Mantle. You can't shoot them from more than 12 inches away. And then Antiquity Record, Misery's Burden. It's a Misericordia. It doesn't have a profile. Each time a bearer fights, make an additional attack with this weapon, and no more than 1 attack can be made with this weapon. When you make an attack, roll a 2+, 2 mortal wounds to the target, and the attack sequence ends. So it's just 2 mortal wounds stabber. It's the best knife ever. It's what is it? It's the slow knife that penetrates the shield. And then Genestealer Cults Crusade rules battle traits for your Saboteur, which is kind of neat. A resourceful Saboteur. Each time this model uses its Reductus Explosives action, it can use its Plant Explosives action during the battle. So two times basically you can use your bomb. Destructive Genius. Each time this model makes a ranged attack against a monster, vehicle, or biker, add one of the attack's wound roll. And Detonate Mines. Once per battle, when an enemy unit declares a charge against this model, you can use the Fire Overwatch stratagem for 0 CPs. Each time this model fires Overwatch for the shooting attack, change the type characteristic of its remote explosives to heavy 6. An unmodified hit roll of 4+ is automatically successful. And then your characters for just generic characters, you get 1 for Patriarchs, 1 for Maguses, 1 for Primus. Forceful Hypnosis for the Patriarch. This model always fights first. Each time an attack is made against this model, it's -1 to hit. And then Magus, Charismatic Savant. Each time this model attempts to manifest a blessing psychic power, you can roll that psychic test. And Primus, Fluid Tactician. In each of your opponent's charge phases, you can select 1 friendly cult core unit within 12. Until the end of that phase, they're eligible to perform a heroic intervention as if they were a character. That's pretty cool. And they get a Artificer Relic, Tyrant's Ed for an auto pistol. It's pistol 1, strength 3, -4, 3 damage. And each time you make an attack with this weapon, if a hit is scored and the target's strength is higher than the bearer's, the attack automatically wounds. So you shoot against... Basically, I think you're always... Basically, anything strength 4 or more, you just auto wound with it at -4, 3 damage. That's an amazing pistol. And then your Antiquity Relic. Your Divine Ozian, it's a bone sword created from a sacred bone of a prior patriarch. If you have a cult bone sword, you gain Divine Ozian Aura. Select a core unit within 6 of the bearer until the start of your next command phase. They get OBSEC. And then has the following profile: +2 strength, -3 AP, and damage 3. Cool. All right, data sheets. So again, I'm not sure this is what's going to be in the codex. This is obviously like a preview or something. It's not necessarily going to be as written, but here's what we got. So for abilities, Conceal. Genestealer cults are planned meticulously before rising up against their oppressors. During deployment, you can set up this unit in ambush instead of setting it up in the battlefield. If this unit's an infantry or biker unit, you can set this unit up underground instead of setting it up in the battlefield or in ambush. If it's ambush, if it's set up in ambush, place an ambush marker anywhere in the battlefield that's wholly within your deployment zone. Units set up in ambush are considered to be set up on the battlefield, even though this models are not actually there. Enemy models cannot be set up or move within 9 of the center of an ambush marker. Underground, if this unit's set up underground, then in your reinforcement step of one of your movement phases, you can set up this unit anywhere in the battlefield that is more than 9 from any enemy models. Units set up underground are considered to be set up in a location other than the battlefield. So you're not on the table if you're underground. You are if you're ambushing. Obviously, this is kind of like the old version. Revealing ambush markers in your first battle. If you have the first turn, you must reveal all your ambush markers at the start of your command phase. If you have the second turn, you must reveal all of your ambush markers at the end of your opponent's movement phase. To reveal an ambush marker, select one unit from your army that is set up. Set up one model that is from that unit within 1 of the center of the ambush marker, wholly within your deployment zone and more than 9 from the enemy, then remove that ambush marker. Set up the remaining models from your army, wholly within 6 of the first model, wholly within your deployment zone and more than 9 from the enemy. Units set up from an ambush marker do not count as reinforcements. Designer's note, the data sheets for miniatures found in Warhammer 40,000 Shadow Throne have been presented here for your convenience, allowing you to quickly deploy your models on the tabletop and play through them. For full and most up-to-date rules, you'll need a copy of Codex Adeptus Custodes and Genestealer Cults. All right, so jumping in, we got some profiles now. The Blade Champion, a lot of this stuff you've already seen on Warhammer Community, but he's an HQ, 7 power, 6-inch move, 2+2+, strength 5, toughness 5, 7 wounds, 6 attacks, holy moly, leadership 11, which is cheeky that they just don't fail leadership tests because they're leadership 11. And save 3+. There's almost a 0% chance of them ever failing a leadership test. I like that they're just fearless. Tell me you're fearless without saying you're fearless. Be leadership 11. Then all you have is Vault Swords, but you get to pick a different attack profile for them. So Beomor, +2 strength, -4 AP, 2 damage. Each time you attack a monster vehicle, a modified hit roll of 4+ auto wounds. That's crazy. Hey, Mr. Knight, I have 6 attacks, and I basically attack you on a 4+, and do -4, because you don't have a save in melee, so yeah. I do 6 damage basically to you every turn. If I get lucky and I spike dice, I get more than 6 damage for you. I might get less. But I am strength 7, so I'm winning on 5. So with the -4 save, 2 damage, that's a big kneecap in a Knights right there. Hurricanus, it's just user -1 damage. Make 2 attacks instead of 1 with each one, so you can be strength 5 and do 12 attacks. And then Victus, if you're attacking a character, you're +1 strength, -4 save, and 3 damage, and reroll the wound roll. So it doesn't really matter, you're only strength 6. You reroll wounds, and yeah, almost no armor save, unless you have an invul, and 3 damage each. So he's a good character killer. He has Aegis the Emperor and Martial Kata, so I don't have the Codex. If Aegis the Emperor works the same, it's +1 invulnerable save, right? So, but it doesn't say he has an invul save here. So I'm thinking that Aegis the Emperor just ties keywords to invul saves. We'll see. And then he has Martial Katas, which you've seen spelled on Warhammer Community. It's a laundry list of abilities, kind of like Marine Doctrines, where you have 2 you can do. You have an order they're going to happen in. So you pick like 3 of these different Martial Katas. There's 2 for each kata, and then you either pick one from that or the other one, or move on to the next kata. It's a thing. It's something I will decide on once and then never change because I will forget how to do it every time. He has Consummate Swordsman. Each time a melee attack is made against him, an unmodified roll of 1 to 3 always fails. So it's kind of like Transhuman, but for melee attacks. So you can never hit him on 2+. That's a huge deal for melee. So hey, Sworn Lord, hey, Gazgul, you only ever hit on 4s, no matter what. Each time a melee attack is allocated to this model, I'd wanted the save throw. So he only has a 3+ save, but it's a 2+ in melee. And then Martial Inspiration. Each time a friendly shield host unit declares a charge against the enemy he's already in engagement range with, you get +1. So if he's already in melee, everyone's racing to come join him. And Legacy of Combat. At the start of the fight phase, this model is in engagement range with the enemy. It can fight first. It's eligible to fight and perform heroic interventions. Sorry, it's eligible to perform heroic interventions if it's within 6 horizontally and 5 vertically. Each time this model makes an intervention move, it moves that distance. So long as it ends that move closer to the closest enemy model or within engagement range of an enemy character unit, it can move 6. All the rules and for heroic interventions still apply. So he wants to go towards characters and fight them, obviously. And then Witch Seekers. They are your fast attack choice, the Flamers, for Sisters to Silence. So 49 Witch Seekers, 4 power. So we're looking at 80 points. The power scale is usually every 20 points is a power, roughly. And then they got Flamers. So Assault D6, Strength 4, -1 AP, which is kind of cool, and auto hits. And they're just humans in power armor, but with a 7-inch move, which is kind of cool. So they move 7, but have a 3+ save and 2 attacks each. And then they have Daughters of the Abyss, which, again, I don't have the Codex. I don't know how it works. I'm assuming it means they deny the Witch or have some kind of aura where they can't be affected by psychic powers, kind of like the the Caluxus Assassin. So the prior general rule is you can't target them with psychic powers. They get to make a deny. Enemies within range of them don't get a good, they get a modifier to their psych tests, but we'll see what it actually is in the Codex. And then Secret Cadre, at the start of the first battle round before the first turn begins, this unit or the Anathema Psychana transport it's embarked within can make a normal move to 6, as if it was your movement phase. This unit must end that move more than 9 from the enemy. If both players have units that can do this, the person taking the first turn moves first. So basically you get a free move at the start of the game to go towards the enemy. Yeah. And then Adeptus Custodians, now this is the interesting thing. Their unit size is 1 to 6. So you can take individual custodians as units, which is neat. There used to be a strat that would allow you to pop apart like that into individual units, but I mean, they're all little baby heroes. 6-inch move, 2+2+, strength up to 5, 4 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 11, 2+ save. They have Aegis the Emperor from Golden Knight, which I assume is teleportation, and then Martial Katas. They've got kind of the same weapon profile. The Ballistic Grenade Launcher is 18 D3, 5-3, 1 blast. So a nice little like AP gun. And then they have their Guardian Spear or Guardian Axe. People really hoping the Guardian Axe was damage 3. I'm sad to report it's only damage 2. And then a Misericordia at -2 save, 1 damage, and extra attack. So yeah, sorry. They rounded to the middle for the Guardian Spear. They did the same thing for the Axe, but it is +3 strength. So you are strength 8. And you're trading a strength for an AP there. But only damage 2. I like reliable damage. I do wish it was more Thunderhammery, but then they probably would have made it -1 to hit. Not that they super care because they hit on 2s, but it's still good. Strength 8's a big deal. Shield Captain, he's 7 power. 8 wounds, 6 attacks, leadership 11, 2+ save. He's got a ballistic grenade launcher, just like everybody else. And they do have Slayer of Tyrants. When they consolidate, they can always move towards an enemy character instead of the closest model. So long as one or more models finishes that move within engagement range of that character. So you can't use it to leave combat, because that used to be a thing. If you can consolidate in any direction, you can just consolidate out of combat. Yeah, these guys have to be able to get into engagement of the character, but they can always move towards the character, even if they're not the closest model. Shield Captain, Inspirational Fighter, gets reroll 1s to hit within 6 for the Shield Host core, but that means the Prosecutors and Sisters don't do it because they're not part of a Shield Host. Yeah, other than that, she's a Shield Captain. He's real good. Gets from Golden Light as well. Vigilators, the Sword Girls, same core stat line. Executioner Great Blades, +2, -3/2 damage. Prosecutors, troops now. Yeah, these are elites. Everything used to be elites before, but now they're troops, which is great. 3 power, so a 60-point unit basically. Still 7-inch move. They don't have the Witch Seeker cadre, and neither do the Vigilators, just Daughters of the Abyss. But they're core infantry troop choice with rapid fire bullet guns and power armor. They're going to be great for pushing buttons and hiding and holding the rear objective. You don't have to have a naked Guardian squad dude anymore. And then a Vexillus Praetor and Alaris Terminator armor. Now this is a big thing because this is how they've changed the standards. I'm assuming in previous codex, all the standards were the same no matter who carried them. So this is a preview of what the standards do. They get their Ballistic Grenade Launcher and Misericordia, and then they can have the Vexilla Defensor. The bear has the following ability, Aura. While the friendly Shield Host or Shield Host characters within 6, they benefit from light cover. Vexilla Imperious, Vexilla Aura. While the friendly Shield Host core or Shield Host characters within 6, add 1 to its attacks. And then Magnifica, this used to be the -1 to hit one. The bear has the following ability. While a friendly Shield Host core or Shield Host characters within 6, it has the benefit of dense cover. So I'm assuming you pay more points for them. You just pick one. You can change Defensor for Imperious Magnifica or Imperious or Magnifica. So basically +1 attack or +1 to your save. So dense cover is the -1 to hit effectively, but only against shooting. And then that's it. They're a relic. You can only have one of each type in your army. So that's, I guess, how it works. Light cover's nice, +1 save. You know, ignore the effects of -1 AP. And it's within 6, not wholly within 6. And then the -1 to hit also getting you +1 save because dense cover is pretty cool too. But that's the workaround. They gave the cover rule instead. That's it for the Custodians. Let's look at the Patriarch. Now, this one I'm not as familiar with the core rules for, so I'm going to bring up their data sheets on my phone just to see if anything's changed here, because I haven't noticed anything, but they may have. And I might have missed some stuff in the Custodians too, because I'm not super familiar with them. I played them a little bit. So Genestealer Patriarch is... Oh, they didn't even put in it's just Patriarch. So Patriarch, 8-inch move. He's got 2 inches of extra movement now, 2+, 4+. So he was 3+ before. Oh no, that's the familiar. What am I talking about? He's the same. He's got a 4+ ballistic skill instead of a 5+ now. He's strength down, so he's only strength 5 as opposed to being strength 6. He's gained a wound to 7 wounds. Same attacks, leadership 10, 4+ save. His claws are flat damage now, so -3, 2 instead of D3. And you can reroll, each time an attack is made with this weapon, you can reroll the wound roll, and an unmodified 6, it's AP -6 and damage 3. So basically the same thing, but flat damage instead of D3 now. You get a Psychic Familiar once per battle. You can reroll a Psychic Test. It looks like the same. Psychic Familiar. No, it's changed. It's just reroll a Psychic Test now. They can be equipped with 1 Psychic Familiar. Living Idol. You ignore combat attrition tests. Modifiers basically within 6. Swift and Deadly. Run and charge still. And then 4+ invuln from your reflexes. So you've got a better invuln than you used to. It's 4+ instead of 5+. So you're a bit tougher, not quite as strong, but because you reroll wounds with your claws anyway, the difference between strength 5 and 6 didn't come up super often. It would come up against the Custodians a bit because they're toughness 5. So you're winning on 3s with rerolls before, now you're winning on 4s. The Primus, all right, also one of the greatest bands of all time. 2+2+ instead of 2+, 3+, so he's got a better ballistic skill. He's toughness 4 now, sweet, good for him. 5 wounds, Same attacks, same leadership, same save. Scoped needle pistol. It's scoped now instead of just needle pistol. Pistol 1. It's damage D3 instead of damage 1. And always wins on 2s. Against non-vehicles and stuff. The Cult Bone Sword gets 2 damage now, which is an improvement over 1. And is Toxin Injector Claw. Jeez, that's a mouthful. It gets 1 additional attack with that weapon, and a 2+ wound is always successful. But no -4 save shenanigans on it anymore, which it used to have. It gets the Conceal and Unquestioning Loyalty, which I assume is the same as the previous Unquestioning Loyalty. Let's see. It used to be you could take wounds on Brood Brothers. I'm assuming that still works. It's not in this book, though, so I don't really know. And then Cult Demagogue, reroll hit rolls of 1 for core within 1. Meticulous Planner, in your command phase, select a core within 9, and reroll wound rolls of 1. The Magus. What do you got, Magus? LMNO. Cult Magus is 3+3+. Strength 3, toughness 3, 4 wounds. Leadership 9, so leadership increase, 5+ save. Auto pistols is still an auto pistol. Cult knife, still a cult knife. Force stave, still D3 damage. Familiar lets you reroll a psychic test. You can have 1 of them. And then Conceal, Unquestioning Loyalty, and Spiritual Leader in your psychic phase. When a friendly cult infantry or biker unit within 6 of this model, each model will lose a wound. On a 5+ is not lost. So you get a 5+ wound shrug within 6 of them. And then it knows Smite and 2 powers from the Broodmind discipline. See Codex Genestealer Cults. Obviously we don't know the new Broodmind discipline, but it can manifest 2 and deny 1. Neophyte hybrids. Well, have you guys changed? I'm betting not super much. Neophyte hybrids. Same core stat line, 6-inch move. 4+4+. Leadership 7, 8 for the leader, 5+ saves. Yep. Their weapons haven't changed much. Obviously, auto guns, auto pistols, bolt pistols, and flamers are all the same pretty much the world over. Heavy stubbers are. Mining laser. Have you changed at all? It's the unique stuff usually that gets tweaked. Heavy 1, 24-inch range, 9 -3d6. Nah, it's the same. Seismic cannon. Heavy 6, 3. Oh, that's interesting. The long wave went up to strength 4, -1 damage. The short wave, heavy 3. 6 -2, now 2 damage. So they tweaked up the seismic cannon, that's good. Shotguns are the same. Strength 4 now for shotguns. Yeah, cool. I mean, the shotgun is the greatest weapon in any era. Web pistol. Oh, that's neat. Instead, roll a d6 and the attack sequence ends. If the result is greater than the highest strength characteristic in the model in that unit, the unit suffers a mortal wound. So web pistols do mortal wounds now. Ho-ho! That's kind of cool. Yeah, it doesn't just do damage, it just does mortal wounds. So you make an attack roll, and if it's higher than the highest strength in the unit, take a mortal wound. So on a 6, just do a mortal wound to a like a custodian. On a 5+ to a marine. That's pretty cool. And the Weber's the same thing. D3 shots. I think the Weber's going to get very, very, very popular. How many Webers can you have in your unit? 2 neophytes per squad can have Webers. There you go. Just fish for 6s to do mortal wounds. So 2d3 plus a pistol at range 12. Within 12, you get 2d3 plus 1 web shots. So 3 to 7 shots, just trying to roll higher than strength to do mortal wounds. But no 6s automatically do it. So if you're strength 6 or more, it just doesn't work. But strength 5 or less, you start throwing out mortal wounds. It's kind of neat. Cult knife, power maul, did that change at all? The pick. The power pick went to 1 damage. It used to be D3 at -2, but it's +2 strength now. Power maul still 1 damage. Yeah, they took the pick down a little bit. Oh well. And then they get Conceal, Crossfire, Unquestioning Loyalty. So obviously I don't know what Crossfire does. So Conceal's page XX. I guess that didn't quite get finished. Whoopsie. So Conceal's in here, but then Crossfire and Unquestioning Loyalty aren't. And then the Adeptus Saboteur, the new model. So 3+, 2+, strength 3, toughness 3. Ooh, little alignment issues here too. Leadership 8, save 5+. It's got an auto pistol, remote explosive, so 24-inch range, assault 2d3, strength 8, -3, 1 damage, blast. Each time you select a target with this weapon, you can't select an aircraft. Each time you make an attack with it against a vehicle or monster, it's damage 3. So damage 1 against everybody else, damage 3 against vehicles and monsters. That's pretty cool. So he's just laid like explosives over the whole battlefield. And then blasting charges, grenade D3, 5 -1, blast. Demo charge, grenade D6, 8 -3, 2 damage. Blast, the bear can only shoot with this weapon once per battle, so you can do it twice with that cool Crusade rule. And then frag grenades. Conceal, deploy explosives. This model may perform the following action. Plant explosives. One Adeptus Saboteur model from your army can start to perform this action in your command phase. This action is complete at the end of your movement phase. If this action is successful, place a Adeptus Explosives marker within one of this model, and this model cannot perform this action again. If this model is destroyed, remove its explosives from the battlefield. And then cloaked. Each time a range attack is allocated to this model, while it receives the benefits of cover, it gets +1 save. And then Adeptus Explosives, the end of your movement phase or your opponent's charge phase. If an enemy model is within 3 of the model of this model's marker, then it can use this ability. Roll d6 for each model, excluding aircraft within 3. Adding 2 if it's a biker, monster, or vehicle. On a 4+ to take a mortal wound, or 4 mortal wounds if they were a monster or vehicle, and remove its explosives from the battlefield. That's so cool. So you can walk up to a knight or something and just like plant explosives and then do 4 mortal wounds to potentially on a 2+. That's amazing. The demo pack is pretty cool, actually. And then clandestine, while models within your area of operation, or sorry, within an area terrain feature, enemy models can only target if they're within 12. And when they do, they're -1 to hit. That's amazing. So you're always -1 to hit it, but you have to be within 12 if it's in kind of area terrain. And it's an elite choice, so you can have a bunch of them. So you don't have to have, they're not HQs, but they are characters. That is a cool, different model. And there it is, our little bit of background, and we're done looking through Shadow Throne with some updates now for the Custodians and the Genestealer Cults. So, yeah, neat. I like it. I think the coolest part about this, and I haven't seen any other 40k ones, so I don't know if this is just something they've been doing for a while since 9th came out, but I like that they made it a story. They gave us Crusade rules. This gave me the opportunity to get Jay into 40k again because it tells a story. It's got linked missions and like weird experience and stuff. He's excited to paint the Genestealer Cults. Obviously, I've painted up the Custodian stuff, so go watch the game now. And you can check out the actual miniatures from the box, too. Big thanks to Workshop sending me the free sample for us to check out, and for you guys for watching. Until next time, I'm Ash. Happy working. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My 2 kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continue to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.